Several major investment banks are increasing their projections about a
recession is now inevitable.
A huge global recession, maybe even worse than that of 2008, is set to hit world economies. This is what the World Bank chief has warned countries around the world, and this has gotten market participants worried. So in this video, let us discuss what exactly is a recession anyway, how does this affect the economy in the first place, and as market participants, what are the do's and don'ts in such a current scenario, and how this affects you as a common person in India. So this is Market Feed, let's get started. First, let's discuss what is recession. You may have heard the word 1,000 times before, but you may have not exactly known what the real meaning is. Recession is nothing but the gross domestic product or GDP of a country moving down or slowing down for 2 quarters in a row. Yes, that is it. If a country's GDP moves into the negative for 2 quarters in a row or 6 months, yes, the country will technically go into a recession mode. During 2020, India along with many global economies had gone into technical recession because of the COVID lockdowns. But after that, most countries around the world escaped from it, and the good news is that we are not currently in a recession. And the thing is, to know that or predict if we are going to be in a recession, we'd at least have to wait 6 months, right? Because till now the data shows that there is no negative GDP growth, and if there is supposed to be a recession, for the next 6 months we need to see negative GDP growth. So the funny thing or the interesting thing here is that even if a recession is going on right now, you would not know it if a technical recession is going on until the end of the financial year. So now that we know what recession is, let us discuss how it will affect the Indian economy. So recession happens when the growth of a country or growth of GDP moves down, right? Or there is negative growth. What exactly is happening here? Recession happens when the spending in the country moves down. That is when spending by governments, spending by individuals, and spending by even corporations move down. So that is what we are going to experience, is what the World Bank is saying. Again, the funny part here is that when people start fearing of a recession, they will start saving up more money and they will start spending less. What is going to happen if everyone in the economy spends less? The GDP will move down and we'll move into a technical recession. So the thing here is that it is all related. It is not like one thing is unrelated to another. Even inflation is related to GDP, and GDP is related to recession. So when people start spending less and trying to save more, there is less money flowing through the economy. Companies' profits will reduce, so the stocks may move down, and we can also guess that financial institutions might take a hit because people won't take more loans. If you want to buy a car, you'll probably think that, okay, I'll buy this 2 years later, let everything in the economy get sorted, I'll buy it when things are looking comfortable, and you will not take that loan, you will not buy that car. So financial institutions, which is at the heart of the economy, they will also get hit due to the fear of recession. And the sad part about this is when people actually start spending less, companies get less revenue and they will start firing their staff to keep expenses in check. And once again, this is all related. When people are losing their jobs, they are likely to spend lesser and the economy is likely to go into more troubles. Banks may start getting difficulties because all these people who lost jobs, they won't be able to repay their loans, and banks will go to trouble as well, and hence the entire economy starts suffering. And again, the point here is that all these things may happen if a recession actually does come, and the important point here is that the fear of recession can actually cause a recession. So yes, recession is actually just a number or an indicator, but these are the actual effects that we may see on the ground, we may feel as common people in India. We may start seeing communal tensions, political tensions, like some of which we are already seeing across the country. Yes, now let's get to the most important part of the video. What can you do as stock market investors and traders in such a current scenario where the entire world is being afraid or is awaiting a recession? When the 2008 financial crisis actually happened, we saw that the markets crashed around the world, including in India. Nifty also fell by nearly 50% that year. So two things happen to the market during a recession. When companies do not earn as much profits, their valuations will go down and their stock prices will reduce. Along with that, when people do not have enough extra money which they can invest into the market, the liquidity in the market goes down, the demand in the market goes down. More people want to sell and get out of the market, take their money so that they can live their natural normal life, pay their rent, pay for their food, so that they take money away from the market. So this is what actually happens to the stock market during a financial crisis. This is what may happen in the future also. And this is where the trouble begins. In 2008, when such a financial crisis happened, world banks cut their interest rates to increase economic growth. When interest rates are reduced in the economy, more money is flowing through the country and people have more money to spend. That is the situation that we had during 2020 and 2021. But what is actually happening right now? Central banks of many countries, including our Reserve Bank of India, they are actually increasing interest rates after the COVID crash. This is because if interest rates are kept low for a long time, inflation happens. That is exactly what we are seeing right now. You are seeing the prices of everyday goods starting to move up because inflation is getting out of control now. So the global banks or the central banks of countries around the world, they are forced to increase back the interest rates, and that is the trouble that we have now. Because a major weapon that banks used to have, which is reducing interest rates, they can no longer use it this time. So market participants are fearing that this time around central banks cannot decrease their interest rates and that the market may be in trouble. But here is an interesting piece of thought that I can give you. As market participants, you can categorize yourself into two categories. That is, as either investors or as traders. First, let's talk about the story of a trader. If you're a good trader in the market, you need not worry if the stock market is moving up, down, or even sideways. You should be easily able to make money no matter how the market performs. And in fact, if you're a directional trader, if you like good moves in the market, a down move also might actually favor you and you may be able to reap profits from such position. As a trader, you can even be excited about this because you might be in for the opportunity of your lifetime. Famous market participants like Rakesh Jhunjhunwala and Radhakishan Damani, they've actually came out and said that they made their initial fortunes during the 1992 Harshad Mehta crash. And then there are stories of international traders who have made huge sums of money, like these traders in the UK who made $700 million during the COVID crash. So as a trader, if you play your cards really well, again this might be a risky time, but if you play your cards really well, this is a great opportunity for you to make a lot of money. Now let's get to the case of investors. As investors, I am telling you, there is nothing to be worried about, because in this market scenario, if you believe in the quality and fundamentals of the stocks that you're holding in your portfolio, and if you're planning to stay invested for the long term, that is more than maybe 6, 7, 8 or more years, then you have nothing to be worried about. The media's job in the first place is to talk about such news, and this is just noise for a long-term investor. So your job would be to stay invested, stay away from such news, just look at the fundamentals and quality of your stock and stay invested for the long term. And for short-term investors, for those who are planning to hold from maybe 1 to 5 years, this might be a reality check for you, because this is the right time to understand the importance of a diversified portfolio and a balanced portfolio. If you are actually having a good diversified portfolio, it would mean that you are holding equity. Along with that, you also have debt assets, you also have gold assets and many more. Yes, this is the right opportunity for you to understand or learn about gold-based investing. If your investment tenure, if your investment horizon is for less than 5 years, you can actually think about adding more debt funds, more gold funds and whatnot, so that even if the market crashes, you are relatively safe and your portfolio does not move down by much. So to recap, if you are a trader in the market, make sure that you do not lose money during this time frame and find the right trade to make a lot of money if the market crashes. If you are an investor, if you are invested for the long term, make sure just that you hold tight, that you do not listen to all of the news and focus on the fundamentals of the company that you have picked. If you are a short-term investor, make sure you have a diversified portfolio with different assets so that your investments are safeguarded. Coming to the conclusions of this video, as a stock market participant, you need not be worried about the noise and the news of a recession. But as a citizen of the world, you need to be worried. If you are a student, you may not get placements because companies are starting to hire less. Salaried individuals, they may not get a pay hike or they may even lose their jobs. As a business owner, your business might slow down and you may even have to shut shop. So when we speak about a recession, as stock market participants, there is nothing to be worried about. But as common citizens of the country, there is a lot to be worried about during a time of financial crisis. So the important thing here is to safeguard yourself from a financial crisis. The first thing to do is to build an emergency fund. We cannot say this enough. Build an emergency fund so that you can live at least for 6 months without any income at all. The second point here is to upskill yourself. There will always be new industries where there is always need for workers. Also, if you upskill yourself, you may not even get fired from your job in the first place if you are really efficient and good at it. To upskill, you can actually learn about a new skill which you have never tried out, which is actually relevant in the times that we live in. Or you can think about ways at which you can get better at your own job. If you are a business owner, you can start thinking about how you can safeguard your business in times of hardships. And the third point would be to start earning or generating a side income. You can already be doing your job, you can already be running your business. You can think about a side hustle in which you can generate some extra money every month so that you can continue to live your life in the way you want. This can either be a digital marketing job, a freelance job, maybe even a YouTube channel, or my favorite, generating money by trading in the markets. The thing here is that it's all about having the right mindset. If a recession actually does come, it's about bringing out the hustler in you. And you can even do that. You can find a side income, you can find a new job, you can upskill yourself. You can keep doing that even if a recession does not come. That is the most important fact that you can take away from this video, that you can do all these things no matter if the economy is going to do well or not do well. So that's it for this video. If you like the video, make sure that you like, share this with your friends and hit the subscribe button as well. This is Ajay signing off. See you in another video.